Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. I am Neha Rajvanshi and I welcome you all in today's class, that is English class of class 8. So students, in today's video we will start reading with our next chapter from the book Honeydew. This is chapter number 7 and the name of the chapter is A Visit to Cambridge, right? And this chapter is written by Mr. Firdaus Kanga and he is the writer of this chapter, and this chapter is actually a part, this is one extract from the book Heavens on a Wheel. So what it means our writer Mr. Firdaus Kanga, he wrote one book entitled Heaven on Wheels, and this particular chapter that we will read here, this is a part from that book. Clear? So now let's start reading with our chapter, that is A Visit to Cambridge. So first of all, before you read, so before starting the chapter, let's have some idea about the chapter. This is the story of a meeting between two extraordinary people, both of them disabled or differently abled, as we now say. So in this chapter, we will read about one story, and this is stories of a meeting that was there between two extraordinary people. So there are two people, and both the people, they are extraordinary, they are very special, they are genius, right? And both of them are disabled, or we can say both of them are differently able, because nowadays we call disabled people as a differently able people. Stephen Hawking is one of the greatest scientists of our time. So we have read that there are two people. So one of them is Mr. Stephen Hawking, and I am very much sure that you all are aware with this great personality. You all have heard the name of this great personality, that is Mr. Stephen Hawking, and he is one of the greatest scientists of our time, and we all know about his theories, about his researches, and basically the main theories are based on the Big Bang theory, or we can say the black hole, right? So that is the greatest scientist, Mr. Stephen Hawking. He suffers from a form of paralysis that confines him to a wheelchair and allows him to speak only by punching buttons on a computer, which speaks for him in a machine like voice, right? So हम सब ने स्टीफन हॉकिंग की पिक्चर्स देखी हैं. So we all know that Mr. Stephen Hawking, he was having some kind of disability, and why? So we are having the reasons, we are having the details. So he was suffering from a form of paralysis. So yes, he was having this kind of problem. He was having a particular kind of paralysis, and because of that, now he was confined to a wheelchair only, because he was not able to walk, he was not able to stand, and he was able to speak only by punching buttons on a computer, which speaks for him in a machine like voice. Firdaus Kanga is a writer and journalist who lives and works in Mumbai, and now we are talking about the second great personality, that is the writer of this chapter also, Mr. Firdaus Kanga. So he is a writer, a very well known writer, very famous writer and very famous journalist, and he lives in and works in Mumbai only. Kanga was born with brittle bones that tended to break easily when he was a child. So now we are having the details, now we are having the information regarding the disability of Firdaus Kanga. So he was born with this particular kind of disease that is known as brittle bones, and because of this disease he was having this thing that all his bones are very they are tending to break very easily when he was a child. Like Hawking, Kanga moves around in a wheelchair. So this was the similarity between these two greatest personality, that like Stephen Hawking, Firdaus Kanga, he also used to move around in a wheelchair, right, because of this problem that is known as brittle bones. The two great men exchange thoughts on what it means to live life in a wheelchair, and on how the so-called normal people react to the disabled. So when these two greatest personality, Mr. Stephen Hawking and Firdaus Kanga, when they were having a meeting, when they met with each other, so they were having some kind of discussion, they were having some kind of exchange of thoughts, and they talked about, you know, that what it means to live life in a wheelchair. And they also talked that on how the so-called normal people, so what it means a so-called normal people, it means the people who are having no physical disability. So how the normal people, they react to the disabled people. So yes, they discussed all these things in that meeting, and in this chapter we will read about that meeting. Clear? So now let's start reading with our chapter. Cambridge was my metaphor for England, and it was strange that when I left it had become altogether something else, because I had met Stephen Hawking there. So Mr. Firdaus Kanga, he is writing these lines and he is saying that Cambridge was his metaphor for England. So let's see the meaning first. What metaphor means? Metaphor means something that is very similar to other thing. Okay, so he is saying that, you know, Cambridge, it was a name, it was like a metaphor for England for Mr. Firdaus Kanga. And next he is writing that it was very strange, it was very weird that when finally he left it, it had become altogether something else. Why? Because Cambridge was the place where Mr. Firdaus Kanga, he was having the opportunity, he was having this chance to meet with Mr. Stephen Hawking. Okay, so Mr. Firdaus Kanga, he is saying this thing that, you know, Cambridge was like England for him, but to finally when he was able to meet with this greatest personality, Mr. Stephen Hawking, there in Cambridge. So after that meeting, Cambridge now it was having altogether different value, different importance for him. Okay, and in this picture we all can see this great personality, Mr. Stephen Hawking. It was on a walking tour through Cambridge that the guide mentioned Stephen Hawking, poor man who is quite disabled now, though he is a worthy successor to Isaac Newton, whose chair he has at the university. So now Mr. Firdaus, he is writing about the thing that how he got the opportunity, how he was lucky enough to have a chance to meet with this great personality. So he is saying that it was on a walking tour through Cambridge. So when Mr. Firdaus, when he was there at Cambridge University and when he was having a walking tour, so at that time the guide who was there, so the guide mentioned this great personality, Mr. Stephen Hawking, and he used these words for Stephen Hawking. He said that Stephen Hawking is a very poor man. Why? And next he said that he is quite disabled now, right? So we all know Stephen Hawking, he was having the problem, and because of that he used to use the wheelchair only. So because of that thing, the guide, he is using the word poor man for Stephen Hawking. But next he is saying that Stephen Hawking is a worthy successor to Isaac Newton. So let's see the meaning first. What successor means? Successor means a person who takes someone's place. It means suppose one king is there, and after that king, who will be the king? So that person is known as the successor of that king. So the guide, he said this thing that Stephen Hawking is a worthy successor to Isaac Newton. Why? Because now he was having the chair of Isaac Newton at the Cambridge University. So now what the guide, he wants to say, he just wanted to say that Stephen Hawking, yes, he is a disabled man, yes, he is a very poor man, because he is not able to walk, he is not able to stand, he is not able to speak also, but at the same time he is a genius, he is a very great personality, because he is a worthy successor of Isaac Newton. And we all know about Newton, the greatest scientist. So Stephen Hawking, he was the successor of Isaac Newton. Why? Because he was having the chair of Newton at the Cambridge University. So now students, you all can see that the first letter of chair, that is C, it is written in capital letters. So what it means? It means here chair doesn't mean the furniture chair. Chair here it means the position, the rank, the designation that Isaac Newton, he was enjoying, he was having at Cambridge University. So after Newton, the same position, the same honor was given to Stephen Hawking there. Clear? And I started because I had quite forgotten that this most brilliant and completely paralyzed astrophysicist, the author of A Brief History of Time, one of the biggest bestsellers ever, lived here. So when the guide, when he told all these things about Stephen Hawking to Firdaus Kanga, so now he is saying that what was his reaction at that time, what were the feelings and emotions that he was having at that time. So he is saying that at that time he was very much started, he was very much excited, we can say. Why? Because he had quite forgotten this great thing, that this most brilliant and completely paralyzed astrophysicist, so Stephen Hawking, he is the greatest astrophysicist. So what it means? It means a scholar of astrophysics. And what astrophysics means? Astrophysics is a branch of space science, right? So जिस ब्रांच में हम स्पेस से रिलेटेड लाइक बिग बैंग थ्योरी और वी कैन से ब्लैक होल थ्योरीज, सो इन सभी चीज़ों को स्टडीज की जाती है. ऑल दी कॉन्सेप्ट्स रिगार्डिंग द फिजिक्स एंड केमिस्ट्री दे आर यूज्ड. सो दैट पर्टिकुलर ब्रांच इज नोन एज एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स. एंड स्टीफन हॉकिंग, यस, ही वाज द ग्रेटेस्ट एस्ट्रोफिजिसिस्ट एंड ही वाज द ऑथर ऑफ दिस ग्रेट बुक that is known as A Brief History of Time. So in this picture we all can see this is the book A Brief History of Time, and this book is written by Stephen Hawking, and this book was one of the biggest best seller ever. So all these things are related to Stephen Hawking. And yes, Stephen Hawking, he lived there, he lived at Cambridge University. So now suddenly when the guide, when he mentioned about Stephen Hawking, so Firdaus Kanga, he also recognized all the things all together, he also remembered, he also recalled all the things, and now he was very much excited that he was at the same place where Stephen Hawking, he used to live, he used to stay, he used to work. Okay. When the walking tour was done, I rushed to a phone booth and almost tearing the cord so it could reach me outside phone Stephen Hawking's house. So now Firdaus Kanga, he is very much excited because now finally he remembered this thing, that he is there at the Cambridge University and the greatest scientist, the greatest personality, Mr. Stephen Hawking, he was also there. So now he was very much excited and he actually wanted to meet with this greatest personality. So when this walking tour was done, so finally our writer, that is Mr. Firdaus, he rushed to a phone booth that was there and almost tearing the cord. So what cord means? In this picture we all can see this wire of the telephone is known as cord. So he actually almost tore the cord. Why? So it could reach him outside. So Firdaus, he was sitting on the wheelchair, so he was there outside the telephone booth, right? So to use the telephone, उन्होंने जो कॉर्ड था उसको इतना जोर से अपनी तरफ पुल किया that almost he was there to tear the cord, and finally he phoned Stephen Hawking's house. There was his assistant on the line and I told him I had come in a wheelchair from India. Perhaps he thought I had propelled myself all the way to write about my travels in Britain. So finally Firdaus, he called at Stephen Hawking's house. So when he made the call, so there was the assistant, one of the assistant of Stephen Hawking, who received the call. So the assistant was there on the line and Firdaus, he told the assistant that he was there in a wheelchair from India. So yes, he told the assistant who received the call of Firdaus, he told the assistant that he had come in a wheelchair from India. And now Firdaus, he is adding this thing also, that perhaps he means the assistant who was there on the line. So perhaps the assistant, he thought that Firdaus, he had propelled himself all the way. So what it means, propelled means to push. Okay, so when Firdaus, when he told this thing that he came in a wheelchair right from the India, so now he is trying to make some kind of humor here, and he is saying that at that time maybe the assistant, he was having this thing that he actually pushed himself in a wheelchair from the way from India. And why he was there? Because he wanted to write about his travels in Britain. So earlier in the chapter we have read that Firdaus, he was the writer, he was the journalist. So yes, he wanted to made an account, he wanted to have an account about his travels in Britain. I had to see Professor Hawking. Even 10 minutes would do. And next, Firdaus, he told the assistant that he actually wanted to see, he actually wanted to meet with Professor Hawking, and 10 minutes are enough for him, right? He was not expecting much time. So he said that 10 minutes they are enough for me, but I actually wanted to meet with Professor Stephen Hawking. Half an hour, he said, from 3:30 to 4. So what was the reply? What was the response of the assistant? He said that okay, if you want to meet with the greatest personality, the greatest professor, Mr. Stephen Hawking, then it's okay. And you are having not only 10 minutes, but you are having half an hour. It means 30 minutes you are having. And he also mentioned the time that from 3:30 to 4. And suddenly I felt weak all over. So finally, when Firdaus, he was having this opportunity to meet with Stephen Hawking, so finally he was having the feeling that he felt suddenly weak. Growing up disabled, you get fed up with people asking you to be brave, as if you have a courage account on which you are too lazy to draw a check. So what was the reason that he felt so weak? So next he is mentioning the thing, and he is saying that growing up disabled. So in the chapter earlier we have read this thing that Firdaus, he was born with that disease. Okay, so yes, he was growing up disabled, and throughout the journey, throughout his life, he was very much fed up. Why? Because there were so many people around him, they were asking him to be very brave. And now Firdaus, he is saying that it was as if you have a courage account on which you are too lazy to draw a check. So what it means? It means that Firdaus, he is trying to say that when you are disabled, when you are having something something particular disability in your physical appearance, and at that time कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम बहुत ज़्यादा वीक फील करते हैं, हम ज़्यादा अपने आप को ब्रेव फील नहीं करते हैं. सो एट दैट टाइम ऑल द पीपल दे आर हैविंग दिस पर्टिकुलर एडवाइस दैट बी ब्रेव, जस्ट फेस द प्रॉब्लम. सो नाउ ही इज ट्राइंग टू से दैट यस, सभी पीपल अपने आप को ब्रेव बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं, बट देयर आर सो मैनी मोमेंट्स जब हम वीक फील करते हैं. सो इट इज़ नॉट लाइक दैट वी आर नॉट ब्रेव. यस, वी आर ब्रेव, everyone is trying to be brave, but we all are having some particular moments when we all feel that we are dull, we are weak. So he is mentioning the same thing here, and he is saying that all the people, they were having this advice that be brave, and they were behaving as if that Firdaus, he was having a courage account, and he was very much lazy to draw a check from that account. Okay, the only thing that makes you stronger is seeing somebody like you achieving something huge. And next he is saying that what was the thing, because of that one can feel very stronger. So the only thing that makes you feel stronger is seeing somebody like you. It means if you are having a meeting with a person who is exactly like you, he is also having the same problems, who is also having the same disability as like you, and that person is achieving something very huge, that person is able to do so many great things in his life. So finally, when you are having the chance to meet with that people, so this is the thing that actually makes you stronger. Then you know how much is possible, and you reach out further than you ever thought you could. And next he is also giving the reason that why this thing actually makes you stronger, because finally when you are meeting with a person who is also having the disability, but in spite of that disability, he is achieving so many things in his life, he is performing so many things, and he is a great personality, he is very much famous. So at that time you are able to know that how much is possible, how much work is possible for you, and you then finally reach out further than you ever thought you could, right? So जब आप एक ऐसे person को अपने सामने देखते हो who is also having the disability, but at the same time he is achieving so many things, right? So obviously you also can feel some kind of inspiration, some kind of motivation, and then you can realize that okay, everything is possible, and then you also try to achieve more and more. Then you inspired, you also very much motivated to try your best. I haven't been brave, said his disembodied computer voice the next afternoon. And now Firdaus, now he is writing about the meeting. So it was next afternoon, and finally he was lucky enough to meet with Stephen Hawking. So when he was there in front of Stephen Hawking, and when they both were talking, so now he is saying that his disembodied computer voice. So his means Stephen Hawking's, and what it means disembodied computer voice. So let's see the meaning first. Disembodied means separated. So yes, the computer voice was separated from the body of Stephen Hawking, and in this picture we all can see that Stephen Hawking, he was having this disability. So always he was there on a wheelchair and he was unable to speak, right? So he was having some particular buttons, and one computer screen is there in front of him. So he used to press the buttons, and whatever he is writing, that was there on the computer screen, right? और वो जो so wheelchair में एक system था, and because of that system, whatever he was typing, that was heard in a computer voice, right? So now he is saying the same thing, that Stephen Hawking's disembodied computer voice, that voice said that I haven't been brave. And when next afternoon, when finally Firdaus, he was having a meeting with Stephen Hawking, I have had no choice. So next, he said that he was having no choice. Surely I wanted to say, living creatively with the reality of his disintegrating body was a choice, but I kept quiet because I felt guilty every time I spoke to him, forcing him to respond. So now Firdaus, he is saying that, at that time, surely he wanted to say this thing, that living creatively with the reality of his disintegrating body was a choice. So what it means, disintegrating means to break into small pieces. So we all know that of this problem. So now he is saying that yes, this was the reality of his life, that he was having disintegrating body. So obviously this was not at all a choice, but I kept quiet. So Firdaus, yes, he wanted to say this thing, but still he didn't say anything. He was very quiet. Why? Because next he is explaining the reason, and he is saying that the reason was that he felt guilty every time when he spoke to him. Why? Because then each and every time he was forcing him to respond. So what it means, so here Firdaus, he is trying to say that yes, he wanted to say so many things to Stephen Hawking, but he was very quiet. Why? Because whenever he was there and he was speaking, and Stephen Hawking, when he was responding, so we all know that it was very difficult for Stephen Hawking to respond. So at that time, Firdaus, he was having the feeling that he felt very much guilty, right? Because he was forcing Stephen Hawking to respond, and yes, it was not at all an easy task for Stephen Hawking to respond, or we can say to talk. Okay, so this was the reason that Firdaus, he wanted to say so many things. He wanted to say this thing also, that living creatively with the reality of his disintegrating body was a choice, but at the same time he didn't say, because he was having the feeling that he felt very much guilty each and every time when he was talking, because then he was forcing Stephen Hawking to respond, to react, to answer. There he was, tapping at the little switch in his hand, trying to find the words on his computer with the only bit of movement left to him, his long pale fingers. And now here Firdaus, he is explaining the thing, that how Stephen Hawking, he was responding, he was reacting, and how he was speaking. So he is saying that Stephen Hawking, he was tapping at the little switch in his hand, right? So he was having one switch pad, or we can say one keypad, and he was tapping at that that switch in his hand, and then he was trying to find the words on his computer with the only bit of movement that was left to him, and the movement was of his long and pale fingers. So entire body of Stephen Hawking, it was paralyzed. So Stephen Hawking, he was unable to move any body part, but yes, his fingers were working. So he used that movement of his fingers right? Why? Because he just wanted to communicate, he just wanted to talk, so he used the movement of his finger in this action to speak. And he was having one switch in his hand and he used to tap on that switch, and we have discussed this thing earlier also, that whatever he was writing, that was there on the computer screen, and that thing was heard with that computer voice. So yes, in this way Stephen Hawking, he was making the communication, he was talking, he was responding. Every so often his eyes were shut in frustrated exhaustion. So when Stephen Hawking, when he was talking in this way with the help of a computer voice, so when he was talking, when he was communicating, when he was speaking, so many times his eyes would shut. Why? In frustrated exhaustion. So let's see the meaning. Frustrated means we can say angry or very much annoying, and exhaustion means tiredness. So yes, Stephen Hawking, it was very tiring thing for him to communicate, to speak, because only his fingers were the only body part that were working, that were moving, that were able to move. So he used his fingers to make a communication. So yes, it is a very difficult task for him, it was very tedious task, it was a task because of that he was having very much exhaustion, and maybe because of that he was having a feeling of frustration. So many times he was closing his eyes because of that exertion, because of that frustration. And sitting opposite him, I could feel his anguish, the mind buoyant with thoughts that came out in frozen phrases and sentences stiff as corpses. So now Stephen Hawking, he is sitting there, and in front of Stephen Hawking, Firdaus was also sitting. So now he is saying that when he was sitting opposite him, in front of him, so at that time Firdaus, he was able to feel his anguish, the mind buoyant with thoughts that came out in frozen phrases and sentences that were stiff as corpses. So now first of all, let's see the meaning. What anguish means? Anguish means we can say pain or suffering. Buoyant means something that is intensely active, or we can say intensely happy. Stiff is without any movements, and corpses is a dead body. So now here Firdaus, he is trying to say that when he was sitting opposite to Stephen Hawking, and they both were talking, they both were having one discussion, one communication. So at that time Firdaus, he was able to feel this thing that Stephen Hawking, he is having pain, he is suffering a lot, and at the same time he was able to feel that the mind of Stephen Hawking is buoyant, it is intensely active, it is intensely happy. Why? Because there are so many thoughts in the mind of Stephen Hawking, and all the thoughts they were coming out in frozen phrases, frozen sentences, and all his sentences, they were stiff just like a dead body. So yes, Stephen Hawking, he was having a lot of pain, he was suffering while making the communication, but at the same time his mind was full of so many thoughts, his mind was very much active, his mind was very much happy, and he was having so many things in his mind, and whatever he was having in his mind, so those things were coming out in phrases and sentences, and all his sentences were dead. Why? Because he was not speaking, but the computer voice was speaking, right? So there were no emotions, no feeling in those sentences, those phrases. So this is the reason that Firdaus is saying that all his sentences, they were very stiff, they were without any movement, without any emotions, just like corpses, just like dead bodies. Clear? A lot of people seem to think that disabled people are chronically unhappy. I said, I know that's not true myself. So next to Firdaus, he said this thing, that there are so many people who seem to think this thing, that all the disabled people, they are chronically unhappy. They are continuing for a long time. It means they are always unhappy. So now Firdaus, he is saying this thing, that all the normal people, or we can say all the other people, people who are having no disability, so they are having this belief, they are having this thing in their mind that all the disabled people, they are always unhappy. But Firdaus next he is adding this thing also, that this is not true. So he also having this belief that this thing is not at all true, that all the disabled people always, every time, they are unhappy. Are you often laughing inside? About 3 minutes later, he responded. So now next to Firdaus, he was having this question for Stephen Hawking. So he asked this thing, that are you often laughing inside? So let's see what is the response, what is the reaction, what is the answer of Stephen Hawking. So almost 3 minutes later, finally Stephen Hawking, he responded, finally he gave his answer, and he said that I find it amusing when people patronize me. So what is the meaning of patronize? Patronize means to treat somebody in a way to show that you are comparatively better than those people. So he is saying that when all the people that are around him, all the normal people, when they were having the feeling of patronize, when they were trying to show that they are better than Stephen Hawking, so this thing was very funny, very amusing for him. And do you find it annoying when someone like me comes and disturbs you in your work? So next to Firdaus, he is having one more question. So now this time he asked that do you find it annoying when someone like him comes and disturbs him in his work? So next he asked this question, that whenever some visitor is there like him, because Firdaus is also like a visitor there who just wanted to have a meeting with Stephen Hawking. So he asked that whenever there is one visitor, whenever there is one person who comes and disturbs you, so at that time are you very angry? Do you having this kind of feeling that you are very much annoyed? The answer flashed. So when he asked this question, so now Stephen Hawking, he reverted, he responded, and his answer flashed where? On the computer screen. And what was his answer? He replied yes. Then he smiled his one-way smile, and I knew without being sentimental or silly that I was looking at one of the most beautiful men in the world. So what was the question of Firdaus? He asked that whenever there is one visitor just like me who comes and disturbs you, so at that time are you annoyed? Are you angry? And Stephen Hawking, he replied as a yes. So next he is saying that after that Stephen Hawking, he smiled his one-way smile, and at that time Firdaus, he knew this thing, and yes, he was having no sentiments, and yes, he was not being silly also, but he was very much sure with this thing that he was looking at one of the most beautiful men in the world. So yes, at that time Firdaus, he was having this feeling, and at that time he was not being sentimental, he was not being silly, but he was very much sure with this thing that he was sitting in front of a personality who is a greatest scientist, who is a genius, but at the same time who is the most beautiful man in the entire world. Okay, so now here we can see the magic, the connection, the bonding between these two personality who are having the similarity, who both are disabled, but yes, now they are discussing about how it being to be disabled, and what is the reaction of normal people, how they react and how they should react, right? So we will continue the chapter in the next video. See you in the next video. Thank you.